Hello and welcome to Opening Bars. While this channel is primarily dedicated to examining just the first few measures of piano keyboard intros to songs, Opening Bars, metaphorically speaking, is also tasked with critically analyzing a variety of aspects of music to unlock deeper understandings of what it means to make music. Today we're going to spend some time looking at the structure, composition, and production of Lovesick Girls, performed by the all-female K-pop sensation Blackpink. This quartet of highly trained and skilled singer-dancers has taken the world by storm. The song we're going to look at was just released on October the 1st, 2020, and received a staggering 10 million views in just its first 53 minutes online. The song was created by a pool of experienced practitioners at YG Entertainment and notable others, including both Jennie and Jisoo, and the grandfather of EDM himself, David Guetta. What is fascinating to me is the undercurrent of, I know this song is brand new, but it feels so familiar, like I've heard it before. Well, I think there are some good reasons why this song may feel that way, and there is something about the composition of the piece that seems to share some elemental consistency with other Blackpink hits, a kind of craft-driven winning formulaic signature for producers Teddy Park, 24, and RT. But there are some surprises too. What I'd like to do now is to break down this piece and analyze the elements and choices that make this song so noteworthy. But before we begin, a short word about the video. In general, I avoid videos of songs before I've had a chance to listen to them as audio alone. I find the video imagery so powerful that it draws my ears away from the music and becomes too intrinsically tied to my experience of the song. This is particularly true here. There are over 250 cuts in this 3-minute and 12-second video. Honestly, although visually impressive, it's just overwhelming. That being said, you'll notice that I am going to use the video for playback, and I will make the occasional comment about it, but I want to focus on the music, and I'll use it just because the visual cues may help you stay oriented within the piece, as you likely know it in this format so well already. So let's begin. You'll see that I have 3 windows open here. One is a summary of the whole song itself, with each section defined, and which singer or singers is responsible for the lyric content delivery. Underneath is a video window where I'll cue and play clips. And finally, I've created a summary spreadsheet which brings more detail to the sections and which we'll use to guide our discussion through the song. And so, we're at timestamp 0. This opening is extremely well designed by the songwriters. They know that today, in our streaming media-rich environment, that consumers really want to get to the heart of a piece as quickly as possible, and if you don't get there fast, you will lose their interest and they will click away. Nowadays the mantra is, don't bore us, get to the chorus. So it's really interesting that the creators load up the beginning with a dreamlike teaser trailer to hook the listener right off the top, and 7 seconds worth is just enough to do that. Let's listen to verse 1. This section is very straightforward. Here we have Jennie singing in a combination of Korean and English, backed by a simple texture of synthesized guitar, a heartbeat-like bass kick drum thumping on beats 1, 2, 3, and 4, and just a hint of tambourine. This video cue is complementary to the lyric, and the graffiti-strewn car emblazoned with "You and Me Forever," emblematic of her supposed relationship, which has clearly crashed. Jennie's vocal quality matches the lyric and imagery. It's very strained, the distress and anguish clearly evident in her performance. You can really hear that particularly well when she sings the word love. It has a rising, twisted upward trajectory. Notice too is that her breath intakes are very forward and prominent in the mix. That nuanced drum fill is a terrific transition element too. Let's listen to this performance again, and we'll continue with Lisa delivering verse 2. The accompaniment for this new lyric section retains the instrumentation of the previous verse, except it adds texture with a new filtered bass guitar that outlines the root position triads of the harmonic movement. But what is more striking is Lisa's very rhythmic and monotone vocal. She's singing very low in her register, a precise delivery of triplets, two short phrases that are then elongated into a fuller sentence. I just love her delivery. It's so clean and crisp, yet still so musical at the same time. Listen too to that tiny vocal fry, which sounds somewhat like this, that she adds to those first two phrases, a very nuanced treatment there. Let's listen one more time, and then we'll continue with her next 4 bars. Here Lisa continues, utilizing more of her singing voice in a slightly higher, less dark register. The video shows this too. Initially Lisa, black jacket on black jacket, but later brightens slightly as she stands out like a glimmering golden star against the bleak backdrop of an uncaring cityscape. I like how, within just a few 8 measures, the producers have captured 2 differing vocal qualities with the same singer. And again, I just love how incredibly rhythmic this is. Notice how the drum fill here is an exact duplicate of the one used from Jennie's verse to Lisa's. Let's listen once more. Wow, this is so beautiful. It is very clear, visually, that we are in a brand new section. See how the palette has completely changed? Gone are the black and whites, and now we are in a full bloom of colors and pastels, a hint of sunlight, and Jisoo's features so softly and beautifully framed, as she is in so many Blackpink videos. So the instrumental texture has also radically changed. Gone is the bass guitar and bass drum, replaced by a straight-up acoustic guitar with an energetic, variable strumming pattern. Jisoo's voice is so different from her counterparts, a little husky with softer vocal formants. From an orchestration point of view, this is a well-crafted change. Let's hear Jisoo again and continue with Rosé. Here, the background textures and timbres remain the same as in the previous 4 measures. Again, the producers enhance the sonic interest by introducing more elements, especially that crisp and snappy snare pattern, and a kind of brassy synth low tuba on the offbeats. This is a foreshadow of the rhythm, a kind of echo on the offbeat feel that characterizes the chorus, and that's really what this pre-chorus is all about, setting up and driving the listener to the main hook. I really love how the girls' 2 voices seamlessly overlap here. Essentially, their breath intakes dovetail as they transition from one to the other. Their voices are clearly different in intensity. Rosé's voice has more edge and urgency to it here, capped by yet another somewhat elaborate drum fill ending with a trill trap effect. These fills are important elements, here with the slightest suspended pause as it orally signals to the listener that a transition into a new section is afoot. Just a quick word about the man in the video here with Rosé. It's actually Løren. He's a musician and guitarist, as well as one of the producers at the Black label under YG Entertainment, and is well known to the members of Blackpink. You may have noticed that he is also the same fellow that Lisa is snuggling with earlier in the video, and the guy that Jennie is having a fight with in the car. Here, he is also a credited songwriter on this track. Anyway, let's hear Rosé again and then drop into the chorus. So here we are at the full chorus now, 55 seconds in, all 4 girls singing in a pentatonic scale, chorusy unison over a straight-up drum kit 4 pattern with an 1/8 and 2/16 on the hats. The main melody here is underscored by a subtle vocal counterpart, which is supportive yet melodically uninteresting. Notice the lyric content too, how simple and earworm-worthy the words are. This is a technique of hit songwriters today, people like Max Martin, to help make the chorus more globally accessible and memorable, leave the lyric complexity, such as it is for this particular song, for the verses. What is really pronounced is this popcorn-esque countermelody, and I use that term deliberately because it reminds me of a piece written by Gershon Kingsley called Popcorn, which became a #1 hit on Top of the Pops in 1969. I believe it may be one of the first instrumental singles produced with electronic devices as instruments to reach such heights, notably featuring the then recently minted Moog synthesizer. I first heard this instrument on the 1968 album Switched on Bach by Wendy Carlos, the same album Keith Emerson heard, and was then inspired to acquire an analog Moog to use on tour and in recordings with Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Anyway, I digress, but it sure sounds similar. I'd bet that David Guetta knows that song too. Anyway, what I really want to talk about here is the harmonic movement. This song is, at its heart, a 4-chord song. You may have heard this turn of phrase before, as it was made popular by Axis of Awesome in a comedic YouTube sketch whereby they lament the fact that they have never had a hit song, and postulate that it's because they've never written a 4-chord song. What they mean by that is specifically the chord progression consisting of 1, 5, 6, 4. In fact, this harmonic progression is so prevalent in pop music it even has its own Wikipedia page, which lists hundreds of songs that use this very progression. Here they are too, in this song, but are presented in a different order, beginning with a relative minor 6, and then 3 major chords in a row, 5, 1, and 4. In fact, these very chords are also used in the verse and pre-chorus, again in a different order. In the verse they are 6, 1, 4, 4, 5. And in the pre-chorus, it's 4, 5, 6, 1, 4, 5, 6, 1. I have the feeling that one of the reasons this song feels familiar is because we have heard these chords before, thousands of times even, and although they are in altered positions, we still perceive them as such. If you're going to write a hit-pop song in a major key, as these songwriters surely know, indeed, you will likely utilize these 4 chords. And finally, listen for that very low synthy brass tuba. It's here too, carried over from the pre-chorus. Okay, I've talked a lot here, and there is a lot to say. Let's re-listen and carry on into part B of the chorus. So here the harmonic movement is exactly the same. The counter melody is still there, but played down an octave and now pushed far into the background. What is more in the 4 is a fresh, highly repetitive lyric sentiment with new melodic content, and a much more pronounced parallel counterpart that is very much aligned with the melody, especially the sixths in the last 2 measures. What is really interesting is how these 2 vocal lines interact with the underlying harmonies. Notice in the upper voice in measure 1 how the D flat is the 7th and the B flat is the 6th. Then in measures 2 and 3, they are more in line within the triad, but the real shining star is the C flat over the G flat major chord. Wow, couple that with the E flat in part 2, and it's like a whole anticipatory interval before the C flat major chord that follows. But that's not all. Notice in part 2 those B flats. An uninspired arranger would just make those align within the sustaining chord, but the B flat really adds such beautiful color to both the D flat and C flat chords. I can't rave about this little section enough. It's wonderful. Let's hear it again. Okay, that pre-chorus chorus is exceptionally well crafted, but how is it followed up? Verse 3 is split between Lisa and Jennie. Let's hear all 8 measures now.
No love letters, no X notes, no love, never my exes, no diamond rings, that's set in stone, to the left, better left alone.
Didn't wanna be a princess, I'm priceless, a prince not even on my list. Love is a drug that I quit, no doctor could help when I'm lost.
Well, here is yet again another orchestration, a much more edgy, sawtooth-styled synth timbre this time, syncopated with a punchy drum kit part, again with bass drum on all beats and now a snare on 2 and 4. You'd think that the songwriters would just opt for the easy route, simply replaying a previous arrangement, but no, they elect to go with new material. Notice, however, the same 4 chords, 6, 5, 1, 4, are still here. What I'd also like to pay some attention to here is the English lyrics that are rapped. There's just such a cleverness to the words. No love letters, no X's and O's, no love never, my exes no. Look and listen to the symmetry between the X's, X's, O's, no's, and the similar construction of the no love letters, no love, never. Of course, no, oh, no's, all rhyming. To the left, I wonder if that's a nod to Beyonce. And notice how the word left is used with two different meanings in the same line. Well done. Now, I know all of you blinks out there will instantly recognize what Jennie is calling out here. Didn't want to be a princess. It's fairly well known that some consider Jennie to be privileged at YG and somewhat derogatorily labeled the YG princess. I don't think this is true, as the recent documentary about the group clearly shows their collaborative work and play attitudes and a sincere lack of ego conflict. She is fully an equitable team player, despite her solo, and I just love the ferocity that follows I'm priceless, a well-chosen P-word following princess, and followed by no prince on my list. Love is a drug that I quit. I wonder if that is a reference to her short-lived romance with another K-pop singer, Kai. Perhaps I'm reaching here. Anyway, she ties this verse off nicely with the very rhythmic, no doctor could help when I'm love sick. One other quick word about the treatment here, and this is something I've noticed in other songs including How You Like That, Do, and Pretty Savage. This kind of doubling of select portions of the vocal line down the octave and highly processed, almost like a male sub-voice. Another little production trick to take note of.
Didn't wanna be a princess, I'm priceless. A prince not even on my list. Love is a drug that I quit. No doctor could help when I'm lost.
As we might expect in the classic pop song structure, we would repeat the chorus, which is what we do here with its associated pre-chorus. Nothing novel here, except now that Rosé leads off singing Jisoo's previous lines, and then Jisoo picks up some new lyric, all in Korean. The chorus that follows is the same as before. These combined sections serve the listener well to get a full dose of the expected refrain. Now we come to a crucial moment in every pop song, the bridge. If not designed and handled correctly, it can really sink a piece. Let's listen to this one. Here is another songwriter-producer trick not uncommon in the toolkit to drastically scale back the rhythmic pacing, change up the texture and timbre, to give the section a renewed sense of anticipation, which of course leads the listener to expect the chorus once again. Well, we get that here. The instrumental cuts back to a solitary, slow-strummed acoustic guitar once per measure, with no real fancy effects except some chorusy delay. But it's the harmonic movement that has dramatically changed. 3 of the 4 chords this song is primarily based upon are here, but notice this stunning passing diminished chord here. It's the only time in the entire piece that we hear it, and what a great moment to use it. Jisoo in the following 4 bars doesn't get this chord, but her backing tracks now include a clean electric guitar slamming chords off the beat deep to the right in the mix, to once again excite the rhythmic activity and foreshadow the same characteristic in the chorus. See too the waveform for this song. You can clearly see the peak amplitudes are way down, but the resultant RMS representation of the wave energy remains high, likely a result of compression, so it too keeps the song moving forward without losing momentum. Oh, and just watch Rosie as she splatters black paint on the pink wall. Get it? Black, pink? Okay, let's hit the finale. Okay, let's just wait here for a moment. I think this is a master stroke. Instead of the pre-chorus, we head right back into the chorus, full on, that's fine. But notice something brilliant. The melody is the same, the counter melody is the same, but the harmonic progression is different. It would be easy and natural to just copy and paste the previous choruses in Pro Tools, repeat once or twice and be done with it. But not Teddy and his crew. Here we have the familiar 4 and minor 6 chords, but the 4 is elongated over 2 measures, and we get a sweet B-flat minor. And the B-flat in the bass pulls real hard to the C-flat for a kind of turnaround. It gives this section more of a sense of restlessness, wanting to continue the cycle. Let's listen to the beginning of this final chorus again. Chorus B then picks up the same new harmonic movement, keeps the counter melody at the same octave, very slightly modified, but now shifts to an anthemic call and response format between the ensemble and Rosé, before slamming the brakes on to hear Jennie's final word on the matter, but we're still looking for love. Notice here the introduction of brand new, heavily chorused strummed guitar chords right at the very end. These 5 chords, the first with the suspended 4th G flat, feel almost dominant in function. You'd perhaps expect them to resolve to the minor 6, but they deceptively resolve up a semitone to the 4 chord, with a lovely major 7th on top to sweeten the moment. I think you can see now how much this hit song relies on the modern understanding of the construction of the popular song format, but also how it is refreshingly elevated with intelligent modifications and the manipulation of structure, composition, and production techniques. Let's go back one last time and hear this song in its entirety without interruption, but I want you to listen critically, thinking about all of the things we have discussed. Listen to the teaser trailer chorus intro, how it hooks the listener into the song. Jennie's powerfully anguished yet agile vocal performance in verse 1 over that very simple instrumental texture. The colors and rhythmic precision of Lisa's vocal in verse 2. The timbral, textural setup and build-up of the pre-chorus with the introduction of Jisoo and Rosé's voices. The slam-dunk catchy chorus employing a 4-chord progression, the popcorn synth counter melody and the harmonic colorations added by the singer's 2-part singing, the very clever and edgy verse 3 ferociously rapped by Lisa and Jennie, the reiterative satisfaction of meeting our expectation or rehearing the pre-chorus and chorus, the dialed-back bridge that rebuilds the anticipation and excitement for the finale, which delivers on our desire for the chorus, yet freshens with modified harmonic movement and an anthemic feel, capped by Jennie's hopeful and heartfelt final sentiment. Let's enjoy then, with fresh eyes and ears, Lovesick Girls by Blackpink.
영원한 밤 창문 없는 방에 우리를 가둔 love What can we say 매번 아파도 외치는 love 다
다치고 망가져도 나 뭘 믿고 버티는 거야 어차피 떠나면 상처 조성인 채로 미워하게 될걸 끝장을 보기 전 끝낼 순 없어 이 아픔을 기다린 것처럼 아마 다 잠깐일지도 몰라 우리 무얼 찾아서 헤매는 걸까 But I don't care do it over and over 내 세상 속에 너만 있으면 돼 We are the Lovesick Girls 네 멋대로 내 사랑을 끝낼 순 없어 We are the Lovesick Girls 이 아픔 없이 난 아무 의미가 없어 But we were born to be alone Yeah we were born to be alone Yeah we were born to be alone But why we still looking for love No love letters, no X and O's No love, never my exes, no diamond rings that's set in stone To the left, better left alone
Didn't wanna be a princess, I'm priceless. A prince not even on my list. Love is a drug that I quit. No doctor could help when I'm lost.
아마 다 잠깐일지도 몰라 우리 뭘 찾아서 헤매는 걸까 불안한 내 눈빛 속에 널 담아 아프더라도 너만 있으면 돼 We are the Lovesick Girls 네 멋대로 내 사랑을 끝낼 순 없어 We are the Lovesick Girls 이 아픔 없이 난 아무 의미가 없어 But we were born to be alone Yeah we were born to be alone Yeah we were born to be alone But why we still looking for love 사랑은 쏟히는 falling 사랑은 killing your darling 아프다 아물면 또 찾아오는 이 겁없는 떨림 들리지 않아 what you say 이 아픔이 난 행복해 나를 불쌍해 하는 네가 내 눈엔 더 불쌍해 네 멋대로 내 사랑을 끝낼 순 없어 We are the Lovesick Girls 이 아픔 없이 난 아무 의미가 없어 Lovesick Girls 모두 결국 떠나가고 Lovesick Girls 내 눈물이 묻혀져도 Lovesick Girls 아프고 또 아파도 Lovesick Girls But we're still looking for love
I truly hope that you've learned something and enjoyed our musical journey today. And as always, thanks for listening.